In this video, we're going to show you to install the power steering high pressure hose on your Jeep Wrangler located on the front side of the engine. We want to go ahead and drain the fluid out of our power steering reservoir here. We have a little retaining bucket right here. Twist open this cover, pull out the dipstick, set that aside. Now we're going to use an evacuation tool here, and we're going to start to pull this fluid out. We want to continue to do this until we can empty out the power steering pump. Once we've evacuated as much of the fluid as possible, go ahead and install your cap and lock that down. Remove the expansion tank. Use some pliers to loosen and slide the clamp down. Your particular model might be a screw clamp. You would use a flathead screwdriver to go ahead and loosen the clamp. Pull the hose off. Our expansion tank will literally just pop straight up. So you want to get an arm underneath it or a hand underneath it and pull straight up. You're going to dislodge the little retaining tabs here. Pull that up and set that aside. Using your 16mm wrench, we're going to go ahead and loosen this high pressure connector here on the pump. I'm going to unthread that. I want to go ahead and make sure that you have a drain bucket underneath the vehicle when you're doing this job. I'm just going to push this down below. Remove this cover using 10mm socket. Remove the 2 bolts on the passenger side. Once you have those 4 bolts out, lift up on that cover. Once we have the cover off, we're going to use our 18mm wrench. We're going to go underneath our sway bar and we're going to loosen this. From underneath, you'll want to just manipulate this little splash shield here. Work the hose down. And then bring the rest of the hose down from the top. Install the O-ring that comes with the tube. We put some power steering fluid on that. I'm going to do the same for the other end. Go ahead and feed the hose up. Go ahead and get that tube up into place. You gotta find the hole. Go ahead and get this lined up. Get that nut started by hand. Now that we have the hard line attached to the steering gearbox, let's go ahead and run this down. We're not going to tighten it fully yet. We want to get the other side installed before we tighten both ends down. So once that bottoms out, back that off just a tiny bit. Let's go ahead and install the upper half. Go ahead and line that up, get this started. Go ahead and snug this down. Make sure it's good and tight. Let's go go ahead and tighten down this line. Install the cover here for the sway bar. Install the bolts on the other side. Once we get all 4 bolts in, we can go ahead and snug them all down. Install your expansion tank. Make sure that these 2 upper and lower tabs here line up with the support on the radiator or the fan shroud here. Push it down in. Install the hose. And then install your clamp. Go ahead and open up your power steering reservoir. Go ahead and wipe this down. And the first thing you want to pay attention to is the certain levels here. We have a C for cold, an H for hot, and way down below it says add. So what we want to do is we want to pour some power steering fluid into this reservoir here until it gets to the C for the cold. So let's go ahead and do that. You want to go ahead and use the recommended power steering fluid for this model application. Now, once you've added some fluid, what you want to do is add some and then check it. You don't want to overfill the system here. So install the cap, twist it down, pop it out, and take a look. It's not really reading on our dipstick there, so continue to add some fluid. And we're going to do this a few times to get to that cold mark. Now we're right on the cold mark there. That means when we start up the vehicle and it warms up, it should go to that hot mark there. It's something you want to check after you run the vehicle for about 20 minutes or so. Go ahead and double check that level and make sure that it is good. Install that cover and wipe down any drips, and you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.